Grayson Martin didn't expect his blind date to stir memories he had long buried. The small cafe on Old Street in Portland smelled of rain, roasted coffee, and pine, scents that somehow felt both new and achingly familiar. He had left this city years ago to chase success, to bury sentiment beneath ambition. But sitting there, watching the steam rise from his untouched cup, it felt like Portland hadn't forgotten him. He checked his watch. 15 minutes. That's all he planned to give this meeting, a polite gesture, nothing more. But when she walked in, time quietly rewrote itself. Her hair was loosely tied, a few golden strands escaping to frame her face. She moved without pretense, her bag worn but neat, her eyes calm and unguarded. "Tessa?" he asked, standing up. She smiled softly. "Grayson?" Something about her presence disarmed him. She wasn't dressed to impress. No heavy perfume, no rehearsed charm. Yet she carried a quiet grace that felt genuine. They sat across from each other, surrounded by the soft hum of voices and clinking cups. Their conversation began awkwardly, but soon it unfolded like pages of an old book. Tessa spoke about her work at the city library, her love of stories, and her daughter Leah, a 4-year-old, with a passion for ballet and dinosaurs. There was laughter in her voice when she mentioned Leah's insistence on reading bedtime stories twice. As she talked, something clicked inside Grayson. A flicker of a distant memory. A hungry little girl hiding behind the library shelves years ago, eyes wide with fear and hope. He had left her a sandwich and a note that said, "You're not invisible." He had almost forgotten that moment. But when Tessa looked at him and quietly said, "You probably don't remember me, but you once shared your lunch when I had none," the world seemed to stand still. He didn't know what to say. All he could do was smile, a quiet, humbled smile that came from somewhere deep. That night didn't end like most blind dates. There were no promises, no awkward goodbyes. Just warmth, and an unspoken understanding that maybe, after all these years, life had brought two lost souls back together for a reason. Days turned into weeks. Grayson found excuses to visit the library, a book recommendation, a donation, or simply a chance to talk. He saw Leah often, twirling in her pink tutu among stacks of books, her laughter echoing through the aisles. It was the sound of joy he hadn't known he missed. Then, one rainy evening, everything changed. Leah fell ill, a sudden fever that wouldn't break. Tessa panicked, her hands trembling as she tried to call for help. Grayson didn't hesitate. He drove them through the storm to the hospital, his heart pounding not from fear, but from the realization that their lives had quietly become intertwined. That night, while Leah slept in the hospital bed, he sat beside her and read from her favorite book. Tessa watched silently, tears glistening in her eyes. In that small hospital room, surrounded by the hum of machines and the soft rhythm of breathing, Grayson finally understood something he had been too busy to see, that happiness didn't come from success or control. It came from being there, from caring, from love. Months passed. Grayson began helping the library, not as a benefactor seeking recognition, but as a friend who believed in its purpose. He repaired shelves, funded children's story hours, and watched as Leah's laughter filled the once quiet corners. In those moments, in the smell of old paper, the flicker of sunlight through the glass, and the sound of Tessa's voice, he found home again. The past no longer haunted him, it guided him. That single forgotten act of kindness had come full circle, rewriting not just his story, but theirs. And in the gentle light of a Portland morning, with coffee brewing and pages turning, Grayson, Tessa, and little Leah discovered that sometimes love doesn't arrive with fireworks. It arrives quietly, with the scent of rain, the warmth of shared tea, and the peace of simply being together. What an amazing story. Dear friends, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? And if this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe. There's so much more ahead right here on Kindness Corner, where every act of kindness becomes a story worth remembering.